What's going on, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Friday, so I've been back for like 5 days so far, trying to get back into routine and everything. As I mentioned in my last video, weight didn't change too much and it's continuing to maintain really nicely. I'm about 48.8 today, so weight is in a perfect spot. Had a chat with Luke yesterday and we're all set to go into our push phase coming forward. So it's just gonna mean harder training, more food, lots of growing, and we'll basically be growing all the way till I basically start prep next year. So that's really exciting. I feel like fully locked in. Even on holiday, I was still very much focused on what I needed to do and how I could optimize everything. So I'm really proud of myself at how I've handled everything. Obviously, I actually didn't plan to be this serious this soon. So I do have a bunch of stuff coming up. Some birthdays, catch-up dinners. So since I've been back, I've already eaten out for dinners like twice because just Jeremy's side of the family catch-ups and things like that. It's gonna be my mum's birthday. Got a couple of weddings, and then in December I have like lots of family coming over during Christmas as well. I have talked about this with my coach and stuff, and he doesn't really think it'll be too much of an issue. I think luckily because I was able to do the mini cut so well and be in a good spot right now, I do have a lot of room to keep pushing my weight up. So even during Christmas, if my nutrition is not perfect, as long as I'm focusing on getting in enough protein and fueling myself, if the calorie intake goes a little bit higher, it shouldn't be too bad, but I'll try my best to control it, because honestly, the more unnecessary fat I gain during this phase, it just means a much harder prep phase to come for me. And I don't want to have to push too hard during prep. Like, who wants to do that? Nobody wants to lose 20 kilos for prep. Some people may have to. It's obviously really hard. The most I've lost during a prep is like 8-ish kilos, and that was really hard on my body. Obviously, I don't weigh a lot, so 8 kilos on my frame is a lot of weight to lose. Ideally, I'm looking to step on stage at like 45, 46. So I will hopefully be able to build some quality muscle, get back up to 50 or 51, and then cut back down to like 45, 46 would be the ideal situation. Even more ideal if I can just come in early, we can reverse into the show. All of it is all really exciting because I don't have to overthink it too much. I'm a very good athlete. If my coach tells me to do something, I'm just focused on just executing. I don't ask questions. I don't overthink about it too much. That is the main reason why you get a coach. Some people want to understand too many things and it becomes a stressor for them because there's so many different methods and ways of doing things. There's no real right or wrong way, but there is a right or wrong way for each individual. So as long as you hire a coach that you trust, you should just trust them and let them take that stress away from you. All you're doing is data collecting and giving it to them and letting them do their job. So that's the main reason why I got a coach. Obviously, I'm more than capable of doing this myself. I won my pro card when I coached myself. And obviously, like Jeremy coached me for the last one, we kind of did it together. But like, again, why would we want to put that pressure on ourselves when, you know, I am already paying someone else? So even though I could ask for Jeremy's opinions here and there and all that kind of stuff, I probably won't be doing that because I don't need to be going around asking everyone for their opinions when I have already like hired someone. Because again, when you're in a prep phase, you just want to execute. You don't want to think about it too much. You don't want to try and learn. It's not a time in your life where you're looking to expand knowledge. In prep, all you're focusing on is doing your regular 9-to-5 job. So for me, it's coaching. I'm just gonna be focused on coaching my clients and then doing my training, doing my nutrition, doing my cardio, and executing prep. I don't need to be doing any extra kind of like learning and getting to know my body and things like that. I just need to be very vigilant with tracking my progress and communicating everything to my coach, giving him the information and letting him just make the decisions. I don't have to worry about whether am I losing fat fast enough and do I need a carb up, all that kind of stuff. He will make those decisions for me. And so I think this is going to be a really, I wouldn't really use the word relaxed, but it's gonna be, yeah, quite a smooth sailing prep, fingers crossed. Like I said, all I have to do is listen. I'm very good at suffering and not looking at it as suffering. Also because I don't know whether I'll be competing for another season after this year. This may be my last season competing. I think I will just cherish every moment of so-called suffering that everyone will consider suffering, because I love this so much. If you're going to be competing, you have to be dedicated to the process. You have to be in love with what you do. You have to be in love with the process. And that is a big reason of why I have done this for over 9 years and completed 15 shows, because I'm in love with the process and not tied to the outcome as much. Obviously this time I really want a better outcome. We always want to look better, do better than last time. And obviously that's my number one goal. Look better and do better than last time. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to have so much stress and anxiety about like, oh, my calories are low, oh, my cardio is high, oh, it's hard, oh, I'm hungry. That's just extra stress that you don't need. Just embrace every day. It's gonna be hard. There's gonna be hard days. Off season, on season, there's always gonna be hard days. But if you stress about it being hard, you just suffer twice, really. So people who they get the prescription of how much calories they have to do, they go through a moment of stress before they even go through a day of low calories. So they literally suffer twice. The day that they're hungry on low calories and the day before when they're spent worrying about the low calories. Just do it, just execute. Don't think about it too much. If I can give you one piece of advice, stop overthinking things. If you have someone you trust, go with the plan, commit to everything, and just do what needs to be done. In saying that, today we're going to be training upper body, and I'm so relieved because my legs are so sore from training really hard yesterday. My body is beat up, but I'm just really excited to get back to training again and eating well again. Today will be a day where I get to like hit my calories perfectly because I won't be going out to eat and things like that. So I'm really excited for a perfect day to come. Hey. We got my favorite pump powder, Bloodshot, back in stock. It is perfect for upper body day. I'm keen to get some good pumps. Honestly, the best pump I got was when I was training on holiday. Now that I'm back training, I'm like, oh yeah, all the extra calories, the extra fat, the extra sodium that I was consuming whilst I was away. Because I was relatively lean before that, at one point I was looking pretty crazy. Now I think I'm looking quite mid again, but the goal is once we get deep into this push phase and growth phase, that I will be looking nice and full again. It'll be a different kind of fullness because obviously there will be some fat gain with it, so it will be like a fuller but less defined kind of look. So I guess it'd be like a fluffy full kind of look, which I'm totally fine with. I'm just determined to put on as much size as I possibly can. I believe I've put on some decent size already, but yeah, I think my body is primed and ready for some solid growth once I start adding much more food in, and I'm really excited to see how high my calories will go and how my body will handle it. Like I said before the mini cut, I was just so full all the time, but now like I'm already hungry and I ate my breakfast like an hour ago. So metabolism is cranking, my hunger is good, I'm able to like eat a lot of protein and stuff again. So I'm excited to eat more food again. This one's a new movement, not really new. I normally do a double-handed straight arm pull down, but coach wants me doing a single arm, so that's what I've been doing. We've been doing this for like 6 weeks-ish now. I kind of like it, not gonna lie. I still prefer double arm, but yeah, it's always good to kind of change things up a little bit. So I'll be doing 3 sets of these for anywhere between 10 to 15 reps. I'm gonna drop the weight for the 3rd set because on the 2nd set I didn't hit the minimum rep range goal of 10. Goal was 10 to 15. I'm feeling a little bit weaker this last couple of days, which is normal when you like go away. Like when you go away, it's almost like a deload. And after a deload, you don't expect to go straight back up to your max weights. Obviously, we're all gonna try and think that we can, but I've been humbled for the last couple of days trying to hit my old PBs, but not quite getting there. But that's okay because that gives us room for progression in the next few sessions that I can just aim to just get those numbers up in terms of the reps. Won't be going for any weight PBs, but the goal will be to do the rep PBs. Like first set, I got 10. Maybe next week we can do 11 for the first set. Second set, didn't even hit 10. I was like 8 and like not even like struggling. So if I can do 10 for the second set, that would be a big win. But for now, I'm gonna do set number 3 with lesser weight. So I'll get a little bit more volume in and then we'll move on to the next exercise. Alright guys, I'm going to show you a hack. So 20's been feeling pretty good and I've been doing those for a couple of weeks pretty consistently. I have 4 sets of the lateral raises. When I first started, the last 2 sets, the reps would kind of drop down a little bit. But the last time I did it, managed to hit the top range of 15 pretty good. I did my first set and it's feeling pretty good. However, to move a whole 5 kilos up is quite a bit, and I know that either my form will suffer or I may not actually hit the minimum rep range. So I have a little 1.25 kilo plate, and this is what I'm going to do. So you pull this out and there you go. You've just added 1.25 kilos of weight to your set. These hurt so much, but they're like my new favorite exercise. So it's basically laying cross cable lateral raise, and it basically puts so much tension on the delt before you even pull it up, and it kind of hits a little bit more of the rear part of the lateral delt, which is an area that sometimes people do lack, and it just kind of completes the whole delt. I love the exercise, but you can't do a lot of weight at all, and it's just kind of a little bit annoying to set up, and you need to take two sides of the cables and stuff like that. So it's like pros and cons. Is an exercise that I absolutely love, but also if you don't have access to something like that, or if you know the gym's too busy or like whatever it may be, sometimes it might even be that some of the cables are too heavy. So a lot of people do struggle doing any kind of cable lateral movements because their cables are just too heavy. It's not overly big deal. You're not like missing out on too much, but if you can get access to something like that, it does feel so good. And I do love this exercise. All right, we are back from the gym. I had a great workout. I was getting a really good pump. Only thing was that the gym was really busy, so I had a little bit more downtime in between sets. I like to keep my body a little bit more warm, but like extra rest is fine. My strength was not as good as it was prior, but like I said, I'm aiming to like get it back up there. But other than that, like this is one of my favorite days. As you could see, I didn't do any big compound movements today. Like, so for my shoulders, we had a little bit more volume. We just did 3 shoulder exercises, but they were all 4 sets each. So higher volume in those, but it's not very systemically fatiguing. So I could literally push most of them to failure or as close to failure as possible without like fatiguing my system too much, which is really good because obviously my leg days are very systemically fatiguing. Like yesterday I had to do squats and stuff, so my CNS was absolutely fried. So it's really nice to do more isolation movements today, get a good pump. Even with my back exercises, just had like 2 back exercises, 3 sets each. One was a little bit more isolation, and I guess the lat pull down was a bit more of a compound. But again, it's not too taxing on my system at all. Everything was able to be taken to failure quite safely as well. And again, like just nothing too crazy. I don't need too many stability muscles and things like that. So this is probably one of my favorite, I wouldn't say easiest because obviously I still push pretty hard, but like one of my favorite workouts of the week. And now I'll just have to think about whether I take a rest day tomorrow or do another leg day. That's always the hardest thing about coming back from holiday, is getting back into my training split again and seeing how I can kind of schedule everything right to be able to train 5 times a week, make sure 3 of those times are legs and then 2 of those days are upper body, and that I don't do like 2 leg days back to back, and make sure I'm not still sore as well. However, I may just listen to my body and take a day off tomorrow. I've been training Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and yeah, so Friday, so 4 days in a row. I do think my body needs some rest. I think 5 days in a row might be a little bit much, but if I push through and do 5 days, then I can take Sunday off, and then next week I'll be able to start fresh, and my split will be able to fit in nicely with my 2 rest days. Since I rested on Monday this week, it kind of really threw everything off. My rest days are usually Thursdays and Sundays, but you know, we'll see what we can do. I'm going to listen to my body, try my best to recover as much as possible today. I do have a bunch of work. It is check-in day, so I'll be busy doing check-ins, but I'm going to be keeping on track with my nutrition, trying to sleep early tonight. I'm feeling a little bit tired already, but I don't know whether it's because the weather is kind of gloomy today. But yeah, just kind of catching up on sleep, hitting my macros, continuing to train hard, recover even harder, and hopefully next week my body will be feeling much better, strength will be up, and we can kind of get a good push on this next growth phase. But hopefully you guys enjoyed my video. If you like it, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.